I'm Justin Allgaier, driver of the number 7 hellowater Chevrolet for Junior Motorsports. For me, my favorite flavor of hellowater originally was the Vibe, the black cherry, the original flavor. But now that the Defense line has come out, the hellowater Defense cherry lime for me is kind of the new go-to. I think that it's a great product, number one, but just making sure that I'm hydrated, making sure that I've got all the tools that I need in the car, but also out of the car is really important. And I think the new Defense line is definitely the key to that success. A typical race day, obviously right now is a little bit different than what it was before COVID times, but here with the schedule that we have now, we fly in usually race day morning, so 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, we're on a plane headed to wherever the race event's going to be at. Once we get there, for me, usually I'm going to stop somewhere, grab some breakfast, make sure that I've eaten and I'm ready to go. Head to the racetrack. We have to be inside the racetrack 4 hours before the event. So we go through a COVID scan. We go through, make sure that everything's good, get inside the racetrack. And then once we're there, for me, typically I've got my laptop with me. I've got race footage from, the previous races. I've got the notes from the previous races. I'm going over all of those details, trying to make sure that it's as fresh as possible, in my mind and what's going on. Typically probably about an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours before the race, I'll head into the garage, check in on with the guys, make sure that everything's good in the garage, make sure the car, everything was good going through tech. Get my helmet, get it all ready to go, make sure that I got the right shield on, make sure that I've got all of my racing gear ready to go and in the bag. We take care of all of our racing gear now and take it out to the car. And then obviously without driver introductions at the moment, we're headed out to the car, get our stuff ready, hanging out at the pre-race and make sure that everything's good. Once the race starts, go through the race, get done. Hopefully you've gone to victory lane. That's the most important piece. You go to victory lane, go through the hat celebration. But then after that, head back to the hauler, put all our stuff away, make sure that everything's ready to go so that it'll be there for the next race, and go and get back on an airplane, head back home. It makes for a long 24 hours, but definitely nice to be able to fly in, get the race done, and fly home. A normal day for me, not at the racetrack, is kind of unique, I guess, in a lot of ways. Obviously we work on weekends mostly, but also too during the week. So for me, typically I get up in the morning, my wife helps get my daughter ready, and then I take her to school, which has been fun, being able to drop her off and get her ready for the day. Typically I come to the shop, during COVID times has changed that a little bit, but typically I come to the shop. We usually have a meeting at the beginning part of the week to discuss the previous race and obviously what we're going to do for the race coming up. And then from there, just getting stuff done. I've been fortunate enough that I've been able to help my dad with his business for the last number of years, and so kind of following up with him, seeing what's going on throughout the day, dealing with whatever's going on. If I have something coming up, going over the details for that, making sure that we're staying active on social media, all the things that really help boost our partners' presence as well. And then the last part of it is just hang out with family. I think for us, I have a really tight-knit family, and we hang out a lot and try to do things together as a group. We're expecting a little one in the near future, so we're obviously getting prepared for that. So lately that's been my main job, is to get ready for that. But for the most part, just get stuff done in the morning, try to get everything done here at the shop, and get stuff done with the racing side of things, and then spend the rest of the afternoon with my family. I think when you look at physical ability and somebody that is extremely strong, or somebody that has great attributes, sometimes we forget the fact that a lot of that is the mental side of it as well, right? I think when you are mentally strong, you're able to work harder, you're able to push through boundaries that when you're not mentally strong, it's harder to get through those moments. And for me, the mental health side of things has always been a big part of it. I think number one, I think family is a big key for me to kind of separate and really stay on the mental health side of it, but also too, what you're putting in your body, what you're eating, how much you're sleeping. All of those things go directly into what we're doing on the racetrack, and that sounds crazy, but it's really all the pieces of the puzzle have to be together, mental, physical, and emotional, to be able to go out on that racetrack and compete at a high level each and every given week. And for me, that's been a big part of what's helped with my success, but also kept me in this sport for so long. For me, especially with the racing side of things, having to make sure that you stay on your A game and be physically and mentally sharp, each and every weekend when we go to the racetrack. Eating healthy, being healthy is obviously a big part of it. We're in those race cars for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. The temperatures are extremely high. It's not uncommon for us to get into the 130s, 140s inside the cockpit of our race cars, temperature-wise. And what that does to your body, what that does to your heart rate, what that does to your muscular system, what that does to your mental psyche as you're driving is really incredible. And I don't think people really understand that until they've been put in those situations and had to feel those temperatures and the physical stress that's on the body in those moments when we're out there on the racetrack. So for me, staying healthy and being ready, being fit, being ready to go, only is going to help that. Your reaction time, your mental ability to make decisions on the fly, just being able to physically hold on to the steering wheel when these races are over is super important. We know that when it comes down to the end of these races, whether that be a green, white, checkered, or maybe the last fuel run, being on your A game is such an important piece of finishing these races, number one, but also two, winning these races, and for me that's been a big part of it. I've been lucky in my career to have some great opportunities and put myself in a position where we felt like we could go to the racetrack and compete, but I was coming off of kind of a rough situation and finding out that I was going to come here and drive the 7 car. Obviously, a car that has a lot of history here at Junior Motorsports and one that has always proven to be competitive no matter who's in it. And so when I got the word that things were going to happen, I was going to get to drive the 7 car. Number one, I was extremely excited. I think as a racer, having an opportunity to go to an organization and drive a top quality race car is one thing, but when you add in Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kelly Earnhardt Miller and the group that we have here at Junior Motorsports, little did I know of just how incredibly excited I was going to be to join this organization and be a part of this, and obviously that relationship is carried on now for a number of years, and it's been a great one. We've obviously won a lot of races and done well, but I think for me the reason that keeps me here and the reason that keeps this relationship working so well is just the group of people that we have in this organization. We have a great race team, and really proud to be associated with the people and the sponsors that we have here, because it's definitely a good group. My first NASCAR win was Bristol, Tennessee, 2010. I was lucky enough to battle a teammate, to go all the way down to the wire, and to take home that first victory. And if you could script a better place to win, I'd be really surprised. It was just one of those events that was super cool and something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. If I had to pick a favorite win, obviously, my first at Bristol was really special, but I would say 2018 Indianapolis win was probably the icing on the cake for me. To win at a racetrack that I grew up going to the first handful of Brickyard 400s and just being around the Speedway facility for so many years. That one to me was really, really special, and I cherish all of them, but that one definitely is at the top of the list. Probably one of the coolest moments for me in racing was, my daughter paints a helmet for me every year for the playoffs, and unfortunately the first couple of tries at it, I was unsuccessful in taking that helmet to victory lane. And so, Phoenix, when I was able to win with her helmet on, and she was able to see that, right? I think that's probably the most important piece. As she's gotten older and she understands what's going on with the racing side of things, for her to see me get out of that race car with a helmet that she painted in victory lane was something that I'll never forget, and hopefully she'll never forget. And still to this day, she gives me a lot of grief that I set the bar pretty high and I got to win with her helmet on every time. So that makes my job a lot easier. For me, racing's a family sport. My parents were both in auto racing for a number of years before I came along. They sold tires and parts. My dad was a tool man for a while and sold to a lot of race teams. So, racing heritage has kind of always been in my blood. And when I was 5 years old, my dad was traveling. He was out and selling racing tires to the ARCA series. And my mom was always trying to find things to do to keep me from wanting to go to the track with my dad. And so she took me to a local racetrack in Springfield, Illinois. They were racing quarter midgets. A buddy of mine, Joey Mohan, was 7 years old at the time. He was out there racing. His family were part of the racing community as well, and he was out there racing, and I just fell in love. I was enthralled by, all these kids that were my age, or roughly my age, out there, getting around the racetrack and driving. And I was 5 at the time, and that was it. That was the catalyst that I needed to want to kind of take that next step and go down that route. My dad was 100% against it, but my mom and I kind of already agreed to it, so I think I got lucky in that regard. But my dad's big thing was when we started racing, if we were going to do it, we were going to do it the right way. And fortunately enough, we've been able to do that, and still obviously in auto racing to this day. So it was a great decision, and something that for me is really special. Hellowater Defense gives me peace of mind that my body's being defended, especially with the patented toxin defense technology in Cyto Plus. It's definitely a game changer. I love the taste of Hellowater, and the added benefit of fiber just adds to my daily nutrition.